What up, people? Good. Salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel reserved for the best. Welcome. This is the DC Power Hour, episode 1. Salute. Sixth Element of Hip Hop. I'm your co-host, Reno Noir, and this is Stu Dog. Did I say I'm your co-host? I'm Reno Noir, your host. This is my co-host, Stu Dog. Yeah. So originally we had called the show DC Day, but it gets kind of confusing because DC Day is technically Tuesday. It's a whole thing. So, and Stu had the great idea of DC Power Hour, and I like it. So let's rock with that. DC Power Hour. So we're gonna spend the hour and talk about DC.
All DC all day.
All DC all day. And I think currently, you know, with Peacemaker being on and popping, we'll probably discuss some Peacemaker today. Stu, did you have some things you wanted to touch on though? I think, right? Some Batman stuff or something.
Yeah. I'm pulling my notes up now. As we speak.
Because we got
Peacemaker is the bomb.
Peacemaker is the bomb.
I can't get enough of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's hilarious.
Did you watch the last episode?
Yes. I will say yes. I was busy while I was watching it, but I watched it. I got the gist of it, and yeah, very eventful. We kind of knew that Murr was a butterfly,
right?
But we got it confirmed, and he broke it down to the girl, the what's her name, the big lady, big girl.
Waller.
No, not Waller.
That's Amanda Waller's daughter. The
daughter. Yes. Yeah. Daughter Waller. Right.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that's her daughter. So, yeah, but they just ended it with him, screaming and jumping on her. That's how they ended the episode.
So, no, that was the last episode. But now there's a new episode.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen a new one yet.
Oh, okay, that was 5.
Because they come out on Fridays, right? They come out on Fridays. And my internet is down, man. I can't stream anything, bro. I'm lucky I'm streaming this. Like I'm trying to pull my notes up now.
Yeah.
And, I'm having a hard time getting them out of my, pulling them from the PC to my cloud.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. My cable company, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to be I'm gonna have to be that customer.
Yeah, sometimes you got to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be that customer.
Sometimes you gotta be that customer. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so Peacemaker left his helmet. And Amanda Waller's daughter put it on, hit the X-ray vision. She saw the butterfly inside of Murr.
Mm-hmm.
But and after that, he went crazy.
Yeah, he jumped on her, and then what happens is he him and the blonde chick, Harcourt.
Mm-hmm.
They walk up on Waller daughter, and she's like, Harcourt, give me my gun. And Harcourt's like, she just looks at her, and she looks at Murr, and she goes, she knows. So Harcourt knew. And
which I thought, I kind of figured that. I kind of figured she did, because when they were at the senator's house, wherever he was, the way she was talking to daughter Waller, she was like, where she was telling about, look, you need to kill these joints. Like there's no plan with them. Like. You know what I mean? And then Murr, when they got to the house, Murr kind of was like, I don't know, kind of like lackluster about the whole thing. Especially when he told them when they were drinking stuff, he was like, yo, kill him, shoot him now.
Yeah. Big shout out to Diamond Onyx in the building. Always representing. Peace, girl.
Onyx.
DC Power Hour. Yes, sir. I know you meant Mice Nice. Either Windstorm. Yeah, it's always something. But yeah, so Waller. So okay, so Peacemaker. So sorry, Murr and Harcourt. They they explain it to her. They break it all down, and Murr's like, I'm from this, on my planet. Like we came here to just kind of to kick it, and I'm here, and then this guy, then they started taking over positions of power, people with positions of power, because they're trying to like take over the world, and he ain't with it. So he takes over the body of this guy Murr, who he thought was just a bad guy. He's like the worst person I could find. He was a murderer. Because Waller's daughter, she was like, "Well, you killed a guy. Like you killed a guy. You took his body. Because Murray, the butterfly that he is, really cool dude. He's down with the humans. He's down. He's against the other butterflies. He's a good guy. He's a good butterfly." And she's like, "But you killed this guy." And he's like, "Yeah, but trust me. Like I found the worst guy I could find, murderer. Woo woo woo." And then he's like, "But now I live in his memories, and I know from his memories." He could have changed. Like he wasn't just like a lost, hopeless, evil guy. Like he could have changed, and I took that from him, and I regret it. And I wake up every morning with his memories, and I dread every morning. Boo boo boo, and he feels very bad about it. And
And
so they
well,
talk, and
remember he said that. Remember he said that when he was
mm-hmm,
talking to the what's his name? Ego, or
yeah,
I mean Echo, or whatever his name
echo,
is.
yeah,
Dyed Beard. When he talked to Dyed Beard about it, he was
Tiberius,
like,
yeah, economy,
you
economist.
yeah,
That's his
yeah,
name.
economy. Yeah, yeah. So it's a crazy situation because the butterflies basically do have positions of power where they can shut stuff down,
Mm-hmm.
and when they're discovered, they can move things like what they did with Peacemaker's dad. Instead of letting him out of jail, and make sure Peacemaker wasn't found out. The sheriff was in there manipulated the whole thing, but he is a
Yeah,
butterfly.
right,
So yeah, so it just goes on and on. But Peacemaker was right in the very very beginning. He was right. He was like, normally when we do outs, you guys, it's like it's gonna be something crazy. And if you say butterflies, it's like it's got to be some type of large moth type
right.
creature. And then he kept asking for a jetpack, and they're like, no, you don't get a jetpack. And he's like, I'm telling you, I'm gonna need a jetpack.
Or because these things they fly. But no, he was, she was like, Harcourt was like, yeah, she's like, we need to talk. And so they go and talk, and she's like, so you knew? And Harcourt's like, yeah, I kind of figured it out when I seen a bomb blow up in Murr's face, and he barely took any damage. And then she's like, I already knew. She said, I already knew he had way more knowledge than a butterfly was supposed to have, and that than was possible from our current investigations. And I confronted him. He came clean. And then Murr's like, my people came to Earth, to kind of like find refuge and peace, and you know then I then everything was cool, and our planet was dying, so we came to Earth, and she's like, your people. He's like, the butterflies. He's like, the one in Joff, the butterfly that's in Joff, she's our
Hmm.
leader. And Harcourt's like, or then Waller, she's like, she? And he's like, yes. And she's like, why she? And he's like, well, she had a vagina. and and she's like, well, she said, aliens got vagina? What's her real name? And Murray's like, well, unlike humans, we don't name our genitalia. She's like, no, the one in Joff, what's the real name? And he says, you're interrogating me? She's like, I guess. He's like, you can't pronounce it with a human tongue. But I suppose it's something like eek stack ik ik. And she says, eek stack ik ik. Yeah, shit is getting goofy. And we like to hear we're gonna, live our lives here, but then Goff and the others started planning. For what? To dominate your world. I was a sole dissenter, and they said I was, oversensitive. She's like, you were oversensitive? He's like, yeah, that's when they started leeching, using humans in positions of power as hosts. And she's like, you took over someone. He's like, yes, you killed someone, whoever Mern really was. And he's like, I needed to stop them. I had to get in his body. So I inhabited the worst person I could find. This man, he's a murderer. I know, just a overall bad dude. So I thought.
I
Um,
remember Peacemaker
but
said that as well. And
yeah,
for I think it was like the first or second episode, Peacemaker was like, "Yo, I heard about you. You did some. You're a wild boy.
Mhm. Mhm. And he's like, "But I know from his memories he could have changed. I know that, I took that from him and I took his freedom and his face. And every day I dread waking up to his memories." And she's like kind of coming around, does economist know? She's like, "Yeah, but sticks his fingers in his ears every time we bring it up." He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want Waller to find out. And she's like, "She doesn't know." And she's like, "And you can't tell her. You can't tell Waller." He's like, "Why? I told you a long time ago, you can't trust her. We can't risk anything
Right.
fucking this up. We have to stop them now that, we attacked the company. They know that I'm on their trail, and we know we got to be sure we don't move the cow before they find it." And she's like, "The cow? What cow?" And Harcourt's like, "You forgot to tell her about the cow?" You know? And he's like, "Well, there's a," and then they cut it and it goes to the intro. So we don't know what the cow is at that point. But it's funny, and then they go to the economist and he's plugging his ears and but yeah, that's kind of where that the episode starts off.
Right.
Um
Because it confirms a lot. Because remember, Peacemaker also
mhm,
said that he didn't trust Waller because he knows how
right,
Waller is. But Waller also sent the daughter there because she says she doesn't trust Murr because she knows how he is. So the daughter's actually there to spy on them for Waller. They don't
right.
know that she's Waller's daughter. They have no idea.
Oh, they
You know
don't
what I'm
know
saying?
that.
No, they have no idea. They're not. They're totally in the
Uh,
dark about that. If you watch, I think it's episode 2. When they first go into the base where they're at, I mean their little command center.
mhm,
They all introduce themselves, and she's like, "Oh, you know, she says her name and she starts talking, and then Hardcore and Ego were like, how did she get this job? Like she's like a nobody, like she just
right,
got this job out. Like they're trying to figure out how she got it or who she knew that could pull enough strings to get her that job,
right.
but they still can't figure it out. But they don't know as well,
Mm. Well,
and
and I
she
think
secretly
she's
talks to her.
right. But they were saying, they were telling her you can't tell Waller, like they know she talks to Waller. I think maybe they found out.
I don't think they know yet, but I think they know she does report to Waller, like all of them do. And I
Right.
think that they don't want her to just
Yeah.
report to Waller and tell. But
Yeah.
I know they don't know that that's her daughter. That
Well,
much
I
I know they
think
don't.
she's supposed to be a agent for Waller, spying on them, but I think she's coming around to see that they're good, and she's kind of getting on their side. So she's not really
Uh,
spying for Waller as much as she, would be. But I think she's sort of coming around to, knowing them and appreciating, who they are and stuff. But then there's this Asian cop lady in in this episode. I think she's in another episode, but there's this great scene where she's sitting in the night in the woods, and she's just looking out, and all these little tiny spaceships, like they're about this big, and there's
mhm.
like 100 of them, and they got
Like
the
the one
butterflies are
Peacemaker had.
inside of. Yeah, they're
Yeah, like
little discs, right?
yeah.
And they all kind of fly up, and they land their ships, and they start hopping out, and I think we think that the Asian cop lady is a human, but she screams and lets them know that she's one of them, and they all kind of start communicating, and yeah, they start kind of singing to each other and shit. So I think we find out that she's a butterfly as well.
Mm, mm. And it's
But it's
crazy
a
because
great
you don't
scene.
know who is a butterfly. Yeah, it's crazy because you don't
Right,
know who is a
right.
butterfly and who isn't. Until Peacemaker put on those goggles.
And she
You know
comes
he.
walking in the sheriff's station with the butterflies all flying around her, and she walks in, and they all fly in, and they jump inside all the cops mouths and take over the cops bodies. And so like the whole department is now butterflies, and the one dude detective, he's like running trying to get away, and they just consume everybody. hop right in their
Yeah, because
mouth.
remember Peacemaker. Now, I just want to know, is Peacemaker ever gonna tell him that he has a butterfly, you know,
Right,
held captive in his house?
like a little jar. Yeah.
Mm. At least he's feeding it because he has some of that goo that he keeps pouring in there every day.
And we get to see well, we see the white dragon in his in all his glory in his costume, in his white dragon super villain suit. But it's yeah, all these cops are walking down the road or down the hall with blood all over their faces because I guess when the butterfly takes, you know, pops in your mouth and takes over your body, uh, blood squirts out of your mouth and stuff. And so they got blood all over their faces and they got these huge Joker smiles on, and it's just like a dope scene. But there's a scene where White Dragon, he's wearing his suit, and it looks very much like any, superhero costume. It's got the big, muscle plastic, looking thing. Like it looks like an Iron Man suit, but it's got this big
Hmm.
white horned demon. Looks like a goat, like maybe a skull of a goat or something like that is his mask. Um, Dope. And then all his minions, instead of having on like clan hoods, like KKK hoods, instead of one
Hmm.
cone, they've got like two. There's like 2 points, like
Yeah,
they got
2 points. Yeah.
bag
In the
heads, yeah.
in the in the DC comics, I forget what they called them, but they that that faction because in the DC comics when they talk about White Dragon, he's not Peacemaker's dad. He's just like it's like a whole separate story. He's a whole separate character from Peacemaker.
Mhm.
Um, the guys that he hangs out with, they're also white supremacists as well. They're
Right.
one of them is like not like super Nazi man or something like it's a bunch of them,
Yeah,
and their followers wear those hoods with the double horns on.
right.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're gonna let him make him ride a white dragon because he does in the comics he rides a dragon. They never tell you where he got it from or anything like that. Not that that's important, but he does
Right.
ride a dragon, like he rides around on a white dragon, and um to
Yeah,
see like
I think they'll leave that out of the show.
I think they're gonna leave it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said before, in the comics, he fought with Hawkman and Hawkgirl a lot. Like White Dragon was pursued by them a whole lot. Like they actually, this whole comics and campaigns where, he's doing his thing and Hawkman and Hawkgirl are the ones that go after him and try to
Right.
bring him justice. Yeah. But in the DC universe, he's assumed dead, but nobody's sure after their last confrontation. So they could resurrect the character if they wanted to,
Right.
because they left
Right.
like a couple of sins.
Well, I don't know what he's gonna do in this from here, or who he's gonna how he's gonna turn out or whatever. But at the end, in the last scene of the episode, it ends off with, like I said, all the cops they've been taken over by butterflies. So all the cop and they're doing this press conference, and he announced the cop that's speaking announces that Smith Peacemaker is not only a suspect to the murder of Annie Sturfhausen, but directly to the murders of Senator Raylan Goff, and potentially 33 victims at the Glan Thai bottling plant massacre.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Rest
Well, they yeah.
assured, he's like, rest assured, every police department across the country has one mandate this morning, and it's to find and
Fine,
stop
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker by whatever means necessary.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
Which is
so that's what.
which is crazy. Which is crazy because Peace now he's working for Waller and they're like in the well that's Argus, so that's an elite
Right.
government. I mean, so I wonder how that's gonna work out. So it's cops and principals.
And
Yes, it
prisoners.
is.
That's cops and
Uh,
prisoners.
oh, prisoners.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're cops and prisoners. Yeah,
So
but
how many
yeah,
did they? So did they infect any of the prisoners
I
in
didn't
the film,
see it. I didn't see
or
if
just
they
all
did.
cops, or was it just all cops?
Yeah, like I said, I was busy doing other shit while I was watching the show because I had to do other stuff I had to do. I was trying to get through it, but I don't know if they did the prisoners. They definitely did the cops, and so now it's and obviously the butterflies, know about Peacemaker. So now that the cops are butterflies, they can make Peacemaker a wanted fugitive, and so now every cop in the country is looking for him. So he's got some trouble. Some trouble for episode 7 is gonna be crazy. Um, some cool Easter eggs though. Reveals uh his first victory won against a Batman villain. There's a cool like Easter egg in the show. In a scene that takes place in Christopher Smith's trailer, Leota Abiayo notices a famed newspaper article titled "No New Hero Peacemaker Apprehends Kite Man." The text of the article reads, despite months of planning and strategic traps laid by the city police department, Kite Man had managed to evade capture. Luckily for our city, Peacemaker made a memorable superhero debut by beating Kite Man in a spectacular battle last night. However, neither of them comment on it, as a bio points out a childhood photograph of Chris and his brother Keith, with the latter's death being an element that looms large over the series. But they kind of you see that article, and it's kind of like a little Easter egg because in 1960, Chuck Brown, aka Kite Man, spelled without a hyphen, Kite Man, is a longtime Batman villain, often
Yes.
regarded as a joke due to the fact that his gimmick is kites. The character has appeared sporadically since then, but has stepped into the spotlight in more recent years, particularly during Tom King's Batman run and as a supporting character on the adult animated series Harley Quinn. The official Twitter account for Harley shared the Easter egg with the caption, "How embarrassing." The official Twitter account for Peacemaker replied, "There is nothing embarrassing about being caught by me. It is an honor, although that costume is too embarrassing to be called a uniform." Uh, it's funny because DC, I mean, this was my thing with DC, that they'll have a guy and they just name him Kite Man instead of coming up with like a clever, you know what I mean, name. It's just he's Kite Man. If he's got an umbrella, he's Umbrella Man. You know,
What's wrong with that?
um, there's nothing
What's wrong
wrong
with
with it. It's just it's very comic booky, and there's nothing wrong with that. We love it. Um, but 1960s Batman, like even the comics, it was a very campy, a very like not taken super seriously. He wasn't the Dark Knight. You know what I mean? It was Batman, holy whatever Batman, and it
It's
was
true.
very much like the TV shows, a little bit zany and funny and goofy. You know what I mean? But so for them to have a character Kite Man who's like has kites, it falls right in line with the way Batman was in the 60s in the comics, because with the comics code and everything, and Joker became more soft and more of a clown, and it was just very much a silly time in Batman. And Kite Man is the latest obscure DC character to be name dropped in Peacemaker. In an earlier episode, John Economos complains that he'd rather be forced to work with Batmite than Peacemaker,
Yes, he did.
describing
Yeah.
the- describing the character as a 2 foot tall interdimensional imp who stands Batman. Like he's like a stan. He's like a fan of Batman. Peacemaker
He is.
himself seems to have no love for the fellow do-gooders. He admonished this shrinking soldier doll man because, he called him the shrinking soldier doll man because he doesn't trust human humanically. I don't know. Homunculi. Homunculi. What the fuck's he talking about? And he claimed he once saw Matter Eater lad costume on an entire Wendy's restaurant. Very weird.
Hmm. I know Batmite is an interdimensional being. He's sort of like Mixoplex, but he does magic. He's like a mix between. You know what? No, I'm not even gonna go there. He's like Orko. Kind of reminds me of Orko. He just appears out of nowhere. Most of the time, he's
Right,
annoying to Batman and Robin. He tries to help
right.
him out. He dresses like Batman. Um, he tries to help him out using his magic, things of that nature. But he usually just he was on the Batman and Robin TV show. It was a cartoon that was came out in the 70s, early 80s. I can't remember the name. It's called Batman. It was Batman and Robin, something Batman and Robin hour or something like that. And he would
Mm.
just, he would show up, and he would always talk to him, or they would Batman and Robin be having a conversation, and he would just pop in, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, it's Batmite." Um,
Wow.
to them, he was very annoying, very
Yeah,
very
yeah.
annoying. But they were friends with him at the same time. So
Right.
you know, but he had, in our dimension, he had powers,
Well, there's a
and
weird
things happened.
DC, a weird character I thought it was a typo or something because I was like Matter Eater Lad. It didn't even say, but it's Matter Eater Lad. Like I eat matter, like I eat anything that is
Yeah,
matter, and I'm a lad. I'm
yeah,
a kid. I'm a young man.
yeah.
So Matter Eater Lad. The first 3 episodes of James Gunn's Peacemaker were chock full of DC Easter eggs each with entry touching on another obscure corner of the universe. And episode 4, The Chode Less Traveled, continues the trend as it returns to DC Well of Weird to name drop to the DC Well of Weird to name drop another strange hero, Matter Eater Lad. After conclusion of episode 3, which saw Peacemaker and Vigilante go toe to toe with one of the butterflies Argus is so desperate to eliminate, the team returns to headquarters to break down the mission that went so terribly wrong. Murn asks to speak to Chris in his office because he's hesitant to shoot the butterfly posing as children, which starts a dialogue about transparency. Chris claims he has no problem killing kids so long as he knows why he's doing it, and a sentiment Murn understands. But while the two men eventually come to an understanding about the situation, Chris is still having a hard time grasping what he witnessed at the senator's house. In fact, the situation was so odd that it reminds him of his team up with Matter Eater Lad, who he once saw eat an entire Wendy's restaurant. Myrn is visibly confused about the idea of a man being able to eat anything, but if he was familiar with the comics, he would know that was not even half. Um, yeah, there's some. I don't know if you can see this guy. He looks like he's eating a fence. It's like he's eating a
Yeah,
chain link fence.
that's him. That's Matter Eater
Yeah,
Lad.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Some
but
cool.
that's like I said before. I like the way James Gunn incorporates a lot of different things. Like, because when you have Marvel,
Yes.
when we look at Marvel right now, they don't even mention mutants in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They don't even. It's like they don't exist, or like they're
Who?
there, but nobody's mutants. Nobody's
Oh, the mutants. Yeah, they can't.
yeah,
Yeah, they can't talk about them because of the the rights and all of that. They even had mutants in there. There was Scarlet Witch and the twins and Quicksilver and
but they don't consider
Madam
them
Web.
mutants. They
Well,
don't
they are
consider them mutants.
mutants. They are mutants. They
No, we
just
know
can't
that, but
say that.
right, but they don't say it right.
Yeah, they can't say it because of the rights and all of that. But they once they get the rights, they will. I mean,
Well, you got Disney.
it's not like a Marvel thing that they want to do it that way. It is just they're not allowed to because of legalities.
Right. Doesn't Disney own Fox now? I mean,
Yeah, now they do. So now they have to strategically figure out a way to incorporate them without it just looking weird. Like it makes no sense. But
right. Because
the
James
multiverse
Gunn, he
stuff, I think that they might have done this whole multiverse shit to give us a reason how to bring the X-Men in. That's probably how they figured out how to do it. All this
right.
multiverse stuff is going to lead up to the X-Men were in another dimension or whatever it is, you know.
Because James Gunn,
Bring them in.
he brings in characters like when you watch Suicide Squad, this second one, he had a lot of characters in there, man. He had Avant. I mean, it was a lot of characters, man, that
Mhm.
he had in there, and you like,
Yeah.
oh man, yeah, Weasel. I mean, he's like, yo,
Yeah, look at all the
Polka
stuff he
Dot
put in
Man.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Full of characters, dude. There's hundreds of characters in them movies.
yeah.
All
I mean, he
from
goes
all
deep,
Yeah, he goes
and I
super deep.
can't. Yeah, and I can't even complain about it. All I can do is just take my hat off and say, you know what, thank you for
Mhm.
that. Mm.
Yeah, James
I
Gunn
was
is
real.
known for casting the same actors across several different projects too.
Right, yeah,
Charlie the
because he
Gorilla in
mistakenly
Peacemaker. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
true. Now, because he mistakenly casted someone from Guardians of the Galaxy.
And he didn't
The
know
one girl, he didn't know she was already
that she was in a
in
costume.
Guardians. And yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yep.
Mm. because he also, I read an article. Matter of fact, I read an article the other day where they said Ben Affleck said that when he was filming Justice League, that was the most depressing and lowest time of his life.
Damn.
I mean, very low and
Yeah.
depressing. But the other actors don't feel that way. Like Gal
Yeah.
Gadot doesn't feel that way.
Mhm.
Jason Momoa doesn't feel that way. Just Ben Affleck, and I wonder why. Like they were just going on to say. I mean, I know he was, battling alcoholism and a few other things, but to say that that was the lowest time of his life, like I mean, that says a lot. I mean, the movie.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
like, damn, the movie was dark, but damn, was it
I'm saying
that bad?
you must have a great goddamn life that was the worst shit. But
Right.
yeah. Peacemaker's judo master star wants to reinvent a major MCU character. Um, from Doctor Strange films, I think he in the hypothetical scenario where he's allowed to choose any MCU character, he narrowed his decision down to Doctor Strange's mentor, the Ancient One, and as one that he wanted to play. The judo master actor told Direct how his small stature and age would work for the senior musical character, saying a different iteration of the Ancient One, I think, would be really interesting just because I look so young. Maybe it could be like a commentary on old souls using a human vessel. I think that would be cool. Because previously featured in 2016's Doctor Strange and 2019's Avengers Endgame, the Ancient One is a sorcerer supreme, masters of the mystic arts leader, and teacher to the time manipulating superhero Doctor Strange. However, the role's casting carries controversy. Instead of following the footsteps of the comics by casting an actor of Asian descent into the historically Tibetan part, Marvel hired British actor Tilda Swinton. Due to his Vietnamese background, Lei suggests the Ancient One would likely be seen by many as a welcome change. Lei also addressed Peacemaker actor James Gunn's highly anticipated Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, as Lei admitted, I think if James Gunn were to ask me to play any character, I would immediately just say yes, just because I had such a great time working with him on Peacemaker. Um, yeah, and many speculating that he'll play the High Evolutionary. Oh, sorry, no, Chuck Woody, the guy that plays Mern.
Hmm.
A lot of people speculate that he's going to play the High Evolutionary, a major Marvel character, in the MCU. So he's not done. He's going to the MCU too. Um, and he and then the Judo Master said, I can imagine myself as being one of his alien species in Guardians Volume 3, Adam Warlock and all that. I think it would be fun to play with all those actors. The Judo Master actor lastly mentioned the often funny golden skinned Aisha, which led Lei to believe his particular talents would be perfectly fit among the High Sovereign. I think it would be a lot of fun to be one of the High Sovereign, he explained. I think Aisha as leader, I think of all of them are very serious. So when their comedy peaks, though, it's even funnier. To be able to play that would be fun too. Do you see Peacemaker having more than one season? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, definitely. It's got
Just
to.
because just because it's so good and people love it, but it also could just be a one shot. Like a lot of these, like all the Marvel shows, they're just one season. Like all those Marvel shows, just one season. Like I think, and maybe that's because like Daredevil and Black Panther, Punisher and Iron Fist, they all kind of fell off during season 2. I think maybe they were like, "You know what? These are just one season shows. Let's just do the season, make it good, make it important, tell the whole thing and move on." Because with Peacemaker, yeah, it's kind of this one show, this one story about the butterflies, and once they get to it and solve it and beat them, they'll probably move on to another character for another show, like Marvel does. That's possible.
I see it. I can see it. But Marvel, they make the mistake. All right, like with Daredevil, they made the mistake of when they bought in season two, um, Bullseye. They kind of just got it all wrong. Like
Yeah.
and that's what hurts it.
And yeah,
Some of these
Punisher, same
characters are
thing.
dark.
Punisher just got
Punisher,
boring after season 1.
yeah, because he spent too much time in his feelings instead of going out being a vigilante. Mm, Nobody, I mean, it's called the Punisher, not the in my feelings guy.
Yeah,
Just in his feelings.
I thought he
So
killed it. I thought he killed it. I thought
I
Barenthal
mean,
killed it.
acting wise, yes, he did. But
Writing
story
wise,
wise,
yeah. I mean, story wise, yeah.
it just wasn't there. It just made me uninterested in watching
I loved the
Punisher.
first season. It just, I agree with you that sure I would have liked a more violent, comic accurate Punisher, but I also understand it is TV and it is a show, and they can't just make them rated double R. They gotta tone it down in some kind of way. Of course, I wish they didn't, and I'd love to see it, but we never will. We'll never see a full blown blood and guts violent Punisher in the MCU or TV show. Because like you got to look at those the Punisher movies were all really good and violent. No, I guess Warzone was really good and violent, but
Warzone was good.
yeah.
Warzone was really good.
Um.
They even had Jigsaw in it. It was good.
Mhm. Right, and Jigsaw was in season 2 of the Punisher show. He's in season 1 too, but he became Jigsaw in season 2.
Season 2, yeah.
But it was just kind of boring. Could Vigilante get his own series? That would be dope.
That I can see. That I can see. Yeah, that'd be dope.
I'd
I
love
can
to
see
see
that.
that. Yeah, I would love to see that. Because he's just a dope character, and he's got his own comic books and stuff too. So he definitely could carry a series. There's enough stuff about him, um,
Where he could
to
carry
pull
his own
from.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would be dope.
that would be super dope.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Or
because this
does he
Peacemaker
work
is
better as a
different.
supporting character?
I
Like
think
a
both. I think he could be a good supporting character and do his own show.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
As
he's a
long as
good
you bought
supporting
him.
character, but yeah, the actor, the character, the way they wrote him, and with the source material that they've got, they could definitely run he definitely could lead a show.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, he's very
100%.
different in the DCEU, and that's great. There's been frustration with the accuracy as long as they've made films based on comic books. We all know it, and it's reasonably likely that even back in the days of the first Batman serial, two kids got into their local barbershop, one hating the ears on Lewis Wilson's costume, and the other pleading for artistic interpretation. Today, for every the costumes were amazing from Spider-Man 2 is a perfect recreation of the comics statement of satisfaction. There's sure to be a why the heck did they make Joker his parents killer, and stuff like that, growing in frustration. While that's fine as far as adaptation debates go, it may be time to retire the idea of the need for accurate interpretation. Take, for instance, Vigilante. If DC's Adrian Chase ever ran into Peacemaker's Vigilante, they would not recognize much about one another besides the snappy fit. The name's the same, the alter ego the same, the costume fairly impressive, capturing the four color on the page original, but otherwise they're fundamentally different characters. Comic
Right.
book Adrian Chase had a wife and family until his work as New York District Attorney made him a target. The bad guys managed to kill his family, but Chase survived. In response to the horrible tragedy, he began to take the law into his own hands as vigilante. If he couldn't punish the criminals in the courtroom, he'd break their legs in the alleys, very much like Daredevil. However, some part of Chase still believed in the due process of the law. As a result, he eschewed killing. His tools and weapons were all created to be non lethal, and he took care never to use deadly force. Unfortunately, Chase couldn't reconcile his dual lives. He felt guilt about his costumed activity while working on as a civilian and the tremendous temptation to unleash his full rage while in costume. Sensing the vigilante life was unhealthy for him, he attempted to quit. Tragedy dragged him back in, but he was different, more violent, more reckless. In the end, Chase became overwhelmed by his trauma, paranoia, and shame and ended his own life. So he actually killed himself in the comics. The vigilante in the HBO Max series, on the other hand, has no such conflicts. He kills with a sort of giddy immorality. And if a person is a violent criminal, they deserve death. There is no further needed or wanted. I'm sorry, calculus needed or wanted. As we see, he seems even more at ease with murder in the line of duty than even Peacemaker himself. He's also something of a goofball, granted that he's particularly due to the vibe of the show. Everything is a little bit silly, while just being a bit sad and gory in the grand James Gunn style. Still, Chase's personality and life go even further than that. Gone is the family man with the prominent white collar career. Instead, HBO's Chase seemingly has no life outside the costume except for his job at a local family restaurant. He deserves Peacemaker as his best friend, but Chris never knew Adrian was a former classmate's younger brother until now. While he isn't free of the pathos, this vigilante seems considerably happier in his own skin and choices. Yeah, this Chase would absolutely not work in the 80s and 90s books that
No,
starred the drawn vigilante.
no, no.
Similarly, the conflicted, increasingly unraveling vigilante of DC Comics would likely be a lousy fit for the Peacemaker series. So it just wouldn't work. Like, this show's goofy, fun Peacemaker would not fit the 80s and 90s very serious, dark tone of the way they did, comics and stuff. And likewise, that serious, you know, suicidal guy would not fly in the Peacemaker show.
Well, DC has an explanation for that, which is the same reason why White Dragon is Peacemaker's father, because this is the DC extended universe where
Right.
DC said you will see the same characters, will have the same name and the same look, but they might be slightly altered.
Yep.
Being because this is their extended universe, meaning that it's part of the DC universe, but it's a different
Right.
dimension, or whatever you want
It's
to
like
call it,
it's like
where
Marvel
things
has the
just exist.
MCU.
Right. Well, DC explained things exist as they do in the DC universe, but just in a different tone or a different light. Things might
Hmm.
be just a little different, but the same. Like
Right.
White Dragon, the whole character is the same as it is in the comics, but in here he's Peacemaker's father.
Right.
Just like Vigilante is the same as he is in the comics, but here he's a little more lighthearted. He's more modern. He's more like a modern version of
Right.
Peacemaker rather than that monotone. You know, yes, butterflies are mentioned in the comics, Leto's way, but we've never seen them.
Yeah, I didn't think they were in the comics.
Yeah, they're in the comics. You just don't see them. I've never seen them, but they are mentioned. They are mentioned in the DC universe.
Huh. Interesting. They kind of, it goes hand in hand with the starfish guy, like
Oh,
seems
Starro.
Starro. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very similar in a way. I don't know. It just kind of reminds me of it.
Starro was dope in the comics, man. Starro was super dope in the comics.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad
Take.
they did Starro. I like the way they did it. I like the way it came out. I thought it was very clever. I love the way it just the whole thing just came out. Like it just was great.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
the
is
way they
that you
did it in
have?
the
Let me
movie
see.
was cool. Yeah, I
And
don't
he
even
even
remember
looked
what
like he
this
even
is.
looked like Starro.
Yeah, it
And
was. I
that's
was
what
surprised. I was really surprised that they did the whole starfish thing. Shout out Legion of Comics. What up? What up?
comics. What up?
Yeah, we talking some DC round here. This is DC Power Hour. We
Mhm.
talking
What's
Peacemaker at
that
the
you got?
moment.
What's
What did I
that you
get?
got there, son?
Ooh, my favorite. And this is not
Wolverine.
DC, guys, and I'm sorry, but it's what came.
Wolverine. Damn, that's dope. That's a
Wolverine.
dope cover.
Homage to the first appearance, 181 right here. And this is a great cover too. This is the new story that's out called X Lives of Wolverine or 10 Lives of Wolverine.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get that and read that, man, but I haven't. I just haven't yet. Have
Yeah,
you read
there's a
any of
10 deaths and a 10 lives. Yeah, there's X Lives of Wolverine and there's X Deaths of Wolverine. But this
Yeah,
is
it's like
dope.
a
This is Tyler Kirkham, and this is homage to Hulk 181 first appearance of Wolverine. Instead of Wendigo, you got Omega Red in the background. But other than that, yeah, it's all the same setup. But this is hella
that's dope.
cool.
Bro. That's dope.
Yo, shout out to my man
That is.
Shags, Comics and Toys for the hookup. Oh, this is Return of Wolverine #4, by the way, where he's got the Ghost Rider skull in his claw.
Yeah,
Dope.
that is hella dope.
Legion. What are we talking about here? Starro. Yeah, Starro is great, but Jaro has been Batman's greatest sidekick ever. Now, who's Jaro?
Jaro is it's hard to explain. All right. Have you ever read I don't know how much Batman you ever how much Batman have you ever read?
I've read a lot of Batman.
All right. Remember you gotta go back, man. Damn. Man, he taking it back. He
Just who
taking it
is
way
he?
back. I don't know, it's kinda hard to explain, man. The best way I can I might even have a good example for you. Hold on one second.
Well, he's an
What's
alien.
He's an alien.
He's like a little star with a Robin costume on.
Yeah, because you gotta kind of go back to the days of OMAC, like kind of like back there, like a little further than that. He's kind of I don't know. To me, I can't say the greatest sidekick ever.
You might be
I can
thinking of
say,
somebody else, Stu, because Jaro first appeared in 2018.
you sure?
Yeah, you thinking of somebody else.
I
Because
look it up.
Jaro is the Starro in a jar, is an alien star conqueror who has grown and adopted by Batman. He grew him and he adopted. Despite being
MC.
conflicted over his village heritage, he is incredibly affectionate towards Batman, who considers to be his father. Jaro also dreams of being Batman's best Robin. He wears a little Robin costume, but yeah, it's created by Scott Snyder. Justice League Volume 4, Number 10, December 2018 is his first appearance.
Yeah, because he
History
was
is
also.
his
That's why I said I
genetic
want.
parent.
Let me
Who
see
did you
some.
think he was?
No, no, because I used to watch a lot of Brave and the Bold, and then read the comics,
Hmm.
and that's why I wanted to look at something because I know he's in there. And they talk about him quite a bit in Brave. Like Batman Brave and Bold, they did like a lot of crossovers with Batman and different characters. But I don't know. To me, he's kind of like Batmite, whereas and I guess that was their attempt to bring back a small character, like because we don't see a lot of Mixoplex, Batmite, or anything like that anymore.
Hmm.
But they're kind of like intertwined in the DC universe, where they're good characters, but they're just so minute,
Right.
minuscule that they get forgotten in the pages of. You know what I mean? Yeah, from Snyder's
Little
Justice League.
star.
Man. Yeah, yeah. Also, he was in Brave and the Bold. I have a comic. Damn, I know it's probably put up, man. I know I ain't gonna find it. I got
His
a comic.
history it
I
said
got a
he
comic.
during the events of No Justice, Starro tried to redeem himself by joining with the Justice League under Martian Manhunter's persuasion, aiding in a fight that against the villainous Omega Titans. Starro gave their life to save the universe from the villains. Yeah, he's best known for being the first villain of the Justice League in publication. Starro. Starro was a giant alien starfish as his Earth starfish
And
was
Star's
capable
the
of
Eric.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the one that
he's the
was
one.
in Suicide Squad,
Right.
and
But
then he fought
Jaro
people.
would be kept in the Hall of Justice and would spend much time with Batman following the Dark Knight's crippling injuries. Jaro considered Batman to be his father and was incredibly affectionate towards him, all while dreaming up being his partner in crime fighting. Legion of Doom. When the villainous Legion of Doom grew more powerful, Jaro became consumed by fear that the Justice League would be killed by them. As such, Jaro began releasing his mind control spores throughout the Hall of Justice in an attempt to hypnotically force the League to stay away from the Legion of Doom. When Jaro did this, he grew into a giant monstrous size. Batman was able to break through to Jaro, however, telling him that, they're all afraid and that refusing to succumb to the fear and impose it on others is what makes them better than the villains. When Jaro realized Batman was right, he shrunk back to his tiny size and released the Justice League from his control. By Batman's side, Jaro informed the Justice League that he would be preparing for war against the Legion of Doom. First appearance, December 2018. Yeah, Justice League Volume 4, Number 10. Jaro,
Mm,
Junior
mm,
Starro.
mm. He said that was the greatest Batman sidekick.
I
It's
think
fantastic.
he's being funny.
He even put
Legion. I think Legion's just joking.
he even helped put Death in Metal. So funny. Legion of Comics.
Even helped
Mm,
put in death metal.
you have a very weird sense of
Yeah, 'cause
sidekicks.
I think he was just kidding. I think he said Starro is great, but Jaro has been Batman's greatest sidekick ever.
Well, it's a matter of opinion. My opinion.
Okay.
Some
I
people
get
think.
it. I get it,
Some
Legion.
people
I get it.
depends. Right, I get it. Yeah, some people think it's different Robins, but you know, uh, we'll agree. We'll agree with that today.
It's funny.
Yeah,
He's a starfish wearing a Robin costume.
yeah. I mean, they do eyeball stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I just got the issue where they have the Bat Dog. I haven't read it yet, man, but I want to read it with Batman. And I don't know. I started reading it the other day, but it's kind of like I think it's called Batman, the Batman or Batman Inc. Something like. It's kind of hard read. It's kind of real hard right now. It's a lot of dialogue. I mean, a lot.
Mhm.
And but Batgirls is official.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
yeah. Batgirls is
Uh.
official. Yeah, Batgirls is truly official. Comic is great so far. It's only 2 issues, but it's great. It's third issue should be coming this Wednesday, but it's really great, bro. I've been really digging into it. Like in the second issue, I read that twice. Like I had to read it twice because it
Damn.
was really good. Yeah, it was good. Issue number 2 was really good.
Legion said, slightly joking, slightly serious. I'd rather watch Jaro with Batman. You got to read the stories. It's a legit treat when Jaro is there. And keep in mind, Snyder was writing it, so it wasn't bullshit stories. They were good, well balanced. Now, okay, did all right, this is the first
So
time
Snyder,
you heard of Jaro Legion was 2018. Have you heard of him before 2018? Because according to the internet, he first appeared in 2018. But you seem like he's
because I
been
know I watched
in Batman
because
a lot.
I've read Brave and the Bold, and I know I got a Brave and the Bold comic where they either mention Jaro. I'm like, I gotta pull it. I gotta pull it out. But it's that Brave and the Bold is a more recent one, not like the older ones, like
Right?
the older Brave and the Bold. Those are
Yeah,
like really hard.
they're
So
serious.
I might have it. It might have been 20. I might have read that comic in 2019, 2020.
Yeah, because they're
I gotta
yeah
see what it
everywhere
came
I
out.
look, it's 2018.
Because I know they gave Snyder was writing a lot of stories around it. They had the death metal series and things like that. So
Right.
they were supposed to make a movie out of the death metal, but I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But a lot of people like the death metal. And the Snyder run and the stories that he did. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if some of those comics get made into movies. They talk about it a lot, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I really just don't, because it would have happened by now. It's 2022, and it would have happened by now. Like we would have got at least
Yeah,
one of those comics or series. And he
yeah,
did a couple good series, like like Multi Comic said. It's a lot of good stories he did that were well balanced. And they talk about making even I thought we even got a good cartoon out of one of them. How DC does the cartoons, but we
right.
never
Yeah,
do. Yeah, we never just did.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, I got a thing I gotta do. It's 7:30. Definitely 2018. Uh, he said, "Nah, that's when he first showed up." Snyder was writing Justice League. You just read about definitely 2018. Rebirth was when Jarl rolled out. Rebirth era.
Right.
DC Rebirth.
Yeah. I know I have a
But
Brave and the Bold one, but you know. But as far as breaking them all the way down, nah,
yeah,
can't do it. Yeah. But I do have a Brave and the Bold. But Brave and the Bold is another series. You get a chance to read it, read those. Anyone
yeah,
you can
yeah.
find
Those
it.
are dope. Those are
Yeah.
dope.
But they do it. They the only thing I never could understand about the Brave and the Bold series is what is it called? The Outsiders. I was never a fan of the Outsiders. I was never really
Right.
a fan of the Outsiders, and everybody and DC always pushes them. They always push the Outsiders. But
It's kind of
I
like
just never.
Marvel with the Inhumans. They
Yeah,
keep on pushing the humans. They brought out the Inhumans to kind of replace the X-Men because the X-Men weren't doing well at the time, and you know, okay, but it sucks. They didn't work. Go away. Mutants are here to stay. Inhumans, we don't care.
wait a minute,
But
but
that said,
when I
Black
brought
Bolt
up,
is Black Bolt's one of my favorite characters. Like I love Black
everybody
Bolt.
likes Black Bolt. Everybody
Concept
likes
is
Black Bolt.
amazing. He's just a dope character. He's cool as fuck. He's part of the Illuminati. I rock with Black Bolt. You guys keep coming. You guys been keeping up with Justice League inaccurate. Incarnate.
Incarnate.
Williams is building up something huge. No, I have
Yes,
not.
he is. I got the comps. I haven't read them yet. I'm probably gonna try to read them tonight. Um,
Cooks.
yeah, Incarnate is great. I haven't read them. I've read it. I got a couple, but I haven't read them all. Because they're leading up to the death of the Justice League. They're gonna kill the Justice League.
Right,
A
right.
lot of people keep asking the question: is the Justice League still relevant? I mean, in today's time, or are we
Yeah.
oversaturated with Justice League? Or it's just one of those things where people were just
I
it's just
always
too many
felt like it
questions.
was like, what else, DC? Like, what else? Like, it's like, okay, the Justice League. What else is there? Like, like Marvel has so many different teams, like so many different, and I know DC does too, but they don't push them. They don't talk about it. Like they're
No,
always side auxiliary, always like in the cut. You know what I mean? It's like give us or take these Justice League characters and put them off in like because Marvel will mix them up. They'll be like, okay, right now these are the Avengers. Now they go over here and now they're part of this team and this team, and they just mix it up all the time. But with DC, it's those 6 characters always or something. Oh man, that's where the big event has been building for over a year now. Yeah, Incarnate.
yeah, they're really trying to kill it, but I don't know how well it's gonna roll over, or
Yeah.
but
We'll be
basically
right
a lot
back.
of people are asking that question.
We'll be right back after these
Yeah, a lot
messages,
of people.
folks. We have a commercial break.
Oh yeah, coming through with my Shaolin crew. 2 cents for a case, give me St. Nas brew. In the midst of broken bottles and crushed up cans, met the cows in the jam, or I'll try.
With St. Ides in my system, crack another, I'm blessed. Let's go get the next one and get over. The object is to stay sober, lay on the sofa. Better yet, down my shoulder.
Be champ, stressed out, could never be son. Ricochet jelly, hit the deli for a cold one. Naturally blessed, yes, my rap is like a laser beam.
Dope, dope. Make me want to get some St.
I
Ides
had to
right.
do it.
Make
I
me
had
want
to
to get
do
some
it.
St. Ides right now.
Like, nah. But yeah, that's our show, guys. I gotta wrap it up. I got to be somewhere. But man, catch us Monday, because Monday we got John Jang in the building. Phenomenal cover artist. My favorite cover artist of all time. Crazy artist. Like just I mean, look, like all of them that whole row right there is Jang covers, dude. He's out of this world. He'll be here Monday chopping it up with us. So do not miss it. 6:30 p.m. guys, do not miss it. And if you're in the chat now or if you're watching this on a replay, please leave a comment, help us out, give us that like and all of that good stuff. And if you're new to the channel, give us that subscribe. And real quick, current status books have been the backbone of DC's current continuity since the future state is amazing is the title of everything. Facts. Oh shit, that's my dude, friend of my channel. Please go check out my IG. Yes, sir. And I got all of his books. Yeah, Jang, bro. He's gonna be here Monday, bro. He's super dope. And we'll definitely be chopping it up and learning all about his career and his life and all of that good stuff. But tonight, reason I gotta go, I gotta prepare. I'm doing a big live claim sale on Instagram. So if you're on the gram, come there and check me out. Doing a live sale, selling much of my PC, liquidating it. You know, gotta cycle the goods, man. I've had all this stuff for a while, and I need some new stuff.
Yeah, so you
So
got
I'm
to make
selling.
room.
Gotta make room. I showed off all his covers for the month of January. Yeah, yeah, I saw that. It was dope, very dope. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's our show, guys. Peace out. We will see you Monday.
Peace.